All right, so one thing that's important aside from physical practice is mental practice. And do you ever kind of think about what you're doing on the golf course when you're not on the golf course?
Yeah, sometimes when I'm sitting in class, I'll just like, say I'll be bored, I'll start daydreaming and start like playing the course in my head, like trying to plan out a game plan.
When you're on the course playing in your head, do you think about the pressure and the negative aspects of what you're doing too?
I used to a lot to get like negative stuff in my head, but now it's kind of like three steps I go through. Is like picking my target, my line, and my trajectory.
Okay.
So I get behind the ball and I'll look out. I'm like, all right, how do I want to play the shot?
Yeah.
First off, where do I want to be? Where do I want the ball to wind up? And from there, I figure out what shot shape I want to hit. So I'll have like my shot, my target, and I'll have what trajectory I want to make that shot happen.
You don't want it to all be like cupcakes and donuts. You want to be thinking a little bit about the pressure when you're in a situation, and that's something that's kind of surprising is that you want to think about some of the negativity, because that's what you're going to be thinking about when you're actually over the shot probably. When you see yourself hitting a shot, is it kind of internal? Is it you standing over the ball, or is it external where like you see yourself like from a third person hitting the ball?
It depends on how like zoned in my sit. Like if I'm in my zone, it's kind of like third person, but if I'm kind of just going through the motions, it's kind of first person.
Okay, and either one of those is cool. It's just some people prefer to be seeing themselves over the ball, thinking about the motion there, and some people like, if they've seen their swing a lot on video, it's usually easier for them to picture themselves, behind the ball.
It's kind of for me. It's kind of like I picture the shot shape in my head as I'm hitting it. Like I'm looking down, but I can see like where the ball's about to like. It's weird. It's different.
Yeah. Does it usually last just like 3 or 4 minutes or however long until you kind of snap back into what you're doing? When you get done like thinking about it?
It's like usually just
lasts like however long as you can stay focused on it.
Yeah. But usually once I pick my target and pick my plan, I stick to it. I try not to think about the negatives. I kind of just stick to that plan and just be 100% with that plan and not differ from it.
Absolutely. So you said the main things you think about are your target. Do you ever do you use a lot of your senses? Like, do you think about the smell of the freshly cut grass, or like the wind direction blowing on your face, and the feel of like the ground beneath your feet?
You just feel the ground, feel the lie, and just feel like, and then mainly just like what I feel. It's gut feeling on what I should do based on the wind or conditions.
Are you usually by yourself, or do you picture yourself with a group, of people?
By myself.
By yourself. Okay, definitely. So like when you are thinking about the side, you think about a lot of the wind and the direction of the target. Target's really something important to think about, because you can forget about the target. I know a lot of times when I'm thinking about hitting shots in my head, I just picture my swing and the the form of how I'm doing it rather than the outcome of where it is. And are you usually pretty realistic when you think about like what happens? Yeah. You don't shoot 65 in your head and then go out and shoot 85. That doesn't happen.
Pretty realistic, yeah.
Yeah, you usually try to keep it realistic.
Try to think about par in most every hole. When I'm thinking about my head, I try how to par each hole.
Okay. And you kind of know your mistakes, when you usually might have a mistake, in your head, you'll kind of picture it in your head or work about what to do to correct it. Okay. So do you think more about like you actually the form of you making the swing, or do you think about more about like just where it lands?
Usually when I'm about to hit it, kind of the form is what swing I need to make the ball go where I want it to go.
Okay, so how it feels, and where the club's at, where your grip's at.
Feeling I want to make the ball go where I want it to go.
Okay, rather than just kind of seeing a blurry swing in your head and then just picturing the ball, ending up next to the hole. Okay, that's good. You can think about it either way. Some people like thinking about how they're doing it. Some people like just thinking about it. Is it really sped up in your head, when you see yourself hitting different shots, or is it kind of in real time? It's not in like quick motion where you just see yourself do it real quick and then run it up to the ball.
When I'm like
thinking about it
mental, like away from the course.
Right. Is it just kind of in fast motion?
It's kind of in between. Sometimes like depends on like the day. Sometimes real fast. I'm trying to think about it real quick, like just in between something. Or if it's got a lot of time, I'll be a little bit slower.
Okay, that's great.